everyone, welcome. John Rush, Drive Radio, Richard Rush, my son behind the camera. We're going to review, this is the long review. My son Richard did the short review of this car. 2015 Subaru, and as you can see, it's just the standard Impreza. Nothing fancy about this car, but it is all new in the front end this particular year. So Richard, come around the front, we'll show him. New headlights, grille, hood, fascia. Just they redid the whole front end of the car and it looks much better, much sleeker. They've made it more aerodynamic. We've been able to average in the mid to high 30s on this car. Frankly, 38 miles to the gallon. Richard will show you the wheels in just a minute. This particular car as it sits, believe it or not, all-wheel drive, 2-liter engine, fuel economy that we're averaging, and it actually runs fantastic. I'll talk about that in the driving portion in just a minute. Sunroof, adaptive cruise, lane departure, which is all their eyesight system, fantastic nav and audio system. This car, as it sits, $26,000 and some change. It is one of the best buys out there, one of the roomiest cabins in the marketplace for this particular car. Has Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive. This particular model we're driving has a CVT transmission, which has a little bit of a different transfer case to it that adjusts automatically. This car works fantastic, and it's really a great buy. Now, some people are going to say, well, it's still a Subaru, John. Yeah, it is. Legendary quality, works fantastic. They have had an increase in sales for the past 6 years running. That tells you Subaru's doing something right. So tell you what, let's go take a drive. We'll come back. We'll go through the interior, and I'll give you the rest of my opinion of the 2015 Subaru Impreza. All right, folks, we're now on the driving portion of the car, and I'm going to show you the backup camera portion of it. Then I'm going to actually cut for just a minute and have Richard explain the radio system, because he did a lot more with it than I did. I'm an AM listener. I don't do a whole lot with the radio system, so I'll have Richard explain a few things. I'm going to put it in reverse, and you'll see that it actually pulls up. This car, again, look at the price point. It does not turn as you turn the steering wheel, but I still can see how close to the curb I'm getting. So that part works out really well. Of course, as soon as I go back into drive, off we go. There's a lot of other great, cool features that are built into this system. So I tell you what, rather than me go through all of it, and I don't know near as much about it as my son does, I'm going to let him explain how all of that side of the fence work.
All right, fans, we wanted to give you a little bit more of an in-depth preview of the Starlink system that Subaru has, especially on this new 2015 Subaru Impreza. We were really impressed with it, and especially me. I'm an avid sports fan, so kind of wanted to point out a great feature they have. So if you go here to info, you can see what gives you some options: sports, weather, stocks, fuel. You can find fuel stations close to you. You can follow the stocks right on there, see what the weather's doing. Something great for me was sports. This past week, we actually had the Final Four of the NCAA tournament going on, and I was able to follow those features. Right now, we have baseball going on. Actually, Major League Baseball just started up the other day. You'll notice in here, again, we're in Colorado. You got the Colorado Rockies, the San Francisco Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Padres. And you can actually, if it's in progress, what you're actually able to do is select that game and actually follow it as the game's going on. So instead of you having to keep looking at your phone or worry about what's going on, you're able to actually follow everything right here from the display. And actually, in some cases, depending on the game, it will give you the option to actually tune into the away, the home, or the national broadcast of that game. So a great feature. You can actually set favorites down here. I'm not going to go into it because it kind of takes up some of the review, but it's just a great feature that I'm impressed that Subaru has put in here, has taken the time and effort to actually put in. So great feature, Subaru, really impressed.
Okay, now that you've gotten some more in-depth reviews of the audio system, which, by the way, they've got a great nav system. That was, again, one of the complaints we had with Subaru for a very long time, was the fact that this needed an upgrade. Subaru, if you're listening, thank you. I know that came out in 2014. You guys did a fantastic job in upgrading all of that. It's one of the better systems on the market today. You really did a great job, so thank you for doing that. All right, let's take a quick drive. And as I said in the opening, this car runs fantastically well. For a 2-liter engine, that we're getting anywhere from, I've said in the review so far that we've averaged around 38. I just checked it, and I'm 37. So I have been at 38 driving it, but 37 is my average right now. Richard's is around 31. Got much more of a lead foot than I have. But this car works well, drives well. As I said earlier, even with a lot of the plasticky features, plasticky trim that's inside this car, it's still a pretty quiet car inside. And again, all-wheel drive, symmetrical all-wheel drive. And as some of you may or may not know, all of the Subarus have what they consider a flat engine design. So this has the flat 4 boxer engine, keeps the center of gravity low, makes the car handle well, drive well. yet they've got the ground clearance underneath it, where if you did want to do some, not going to do heavy off-roading, but if you wanted to go off-roading, do some fishing, do something along those lines, this car still gives the ability to do all of that. So I tell you what, let's come back, we'll go through the review, or through the interior, then I'll give you my opinion of, you know, what I actually think of the 2015 Subaru Impreza. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the driving portion, and my son Richard did a little bit more in-depth on the audio system, which I also hope you enjoyed, as he's into more of that than I am. But let's go through the interior. So he's got the key fob in his pocket, so I'll just use my fingers. Got a little button underneath, pops right up. Privacy screen in the back. Pretty good depth of room here. It looks really short from the back end, but as you can see and look through here, really does have good depth. These seats here actually do fold down. I'll grab one of them real quick. You just pull this up and it folds down. If this seat was moved forward, the headrest was down, it actually folds all the way down. Gives you a lot more storage room in there if you like it, which works out fantastic. Again, this car, one of the roomiest cars in the marketplace. We did our normal trip in it to Costco, my wife and I, loaded up the back end, got everything in it that we needed. The car just works phenomenally well. Let me jump into the back seat here. I'll show you what kind of leg room it's got. And the car's beeping at us because the car's on. Richard's got the keys in his pocket, so let me move the snow brush out of the way. And again, this seat is all the way back, and it is so far back. Guess what? I still have room. I can get in here. And this seat's so far back, there's no reason. You'd have to be well over 6 feet tall to sit in this passenger seat on that, you know, sitting on this side to have it move this far back. This seat could comfortably, you can see where even Richard and I are driving, how much farther forward the driver's seat is, and we're 5'10"-ish. So you easily could get this seat moved up a good 5-6 inches, have plenty of room in the back. It has one of the roomiest back seats, but again, we want to show you what this is like with this all the way back. Full headliner all the way back. It does have a sunroof, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, because we didn't do that in the driving portion, but I'll show you that here in just a second. You know, one thing about this car, and Richard, you can show them real quick, there is some soft touch here on the armrest, a little soft touch here. The rest of it's pretty plasticky, but again, this car starts $23,000. So you get all of that out of this car, and as I get out, all that car for the money, I should say, and as I get out, you can see nice slope for you ladies, easy to get in and out of. That part works out great. So I'll tell you what, I'll open up the front door, and I'll jump around to the driver's seat, and I'll show you more of what's going on inside the cabin. All right, folks, I'm now in the driver's seat of the 2015 Subaru Impreza. And as I've said before, really great value for the car. You can see this particular car, you know, nice soft touch materials, you know, throughout as far as the seats. Yes, there's some hard plastic on the doors and the dash, but again, this car is, you know, mid-20s, getting upwards of almost 40 miles to the gallon. You can see up here, and if Richard can show this real quick, this up here, these are the camera systems for the eyesight, which gives you your pre-collision warning, lane departure, adaptive cruise, or adaptive cruise is the radar that's built into it. But basically lane departure, braking, all of that, that's all built in up here on top. Really, as far as the instrument cluster and all the rest of this goes, very easy to read, navigate, steering wheel controls are good. The only downside that I had on this car, and Richard, if you can kind of zoom in over here for just a second, the way the volume buttons work, and then your selector for the channels, it's all fairly close. If you end up having, if you put your thumb here and it's not quite in the middle and you go to move the volume up, it actually tilts it to the side and changes the channel rather than the volume. So it's just one thing kind of to note, not a deal killer by any means, but other than that, this car is a great car. Paddle shifters on it, which actually simulate shifting with the CVT transmission. We talked more about the audio system in the driving portion, so I tell you what, let me come back, give you my, my personal opinion of the 2015 Subaru Impreza. All right, folks, my opinion, 2015 Subaru Impreza. This is the 2.0 with the, it's actually a Sport Limited, which this car gives you some other features. Again, as I've said earlier in the review, this car's $26,000, starts at $23,000. The technology package, I would call it, which gives you the lane departure, the braking, the adaptive cruise, all those different things. Sunroof adds about $3,000 to it, gets you at $26,000. You get a lot of car for $26,000. Who is this car for? Anybody that wants all-wheel drive, room for 4 full-size adults, and really, if you have 3 kids, you could fit them in here very easily and still have room for all of your cargo in the back. This car will get you anywhere you want to go with legendary Subaru quality. As I've said before, 6 years running when it comes to sales increases, Subaru is doing a fantastic job and really building some great cars. One thing I have not mentioned throughout the entire review, this car also has a lot more sound deadening inside of it. One of the complaints I used to have with Subaru years ago was they were kind of a noisy car. Not anymore. This car rolling down the road at 65, 70 miles an hour, very quiet, very easy to drive. It works fantastic. What cons do I have for this car? It's definitely not the most eye-appealing, eye-catching car on the planet. There's a lot better looking cars out there, but functionality-wise, it actually, it far surpasses anything in the looks department when it comes to the functionality. So if you want a good, functional, all-wheel drive, symmetrical, Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive that'll get you from point A to point B in Colorado any time of the year that you want to get there, buy the 2015 Subaru Impreza. When you go down to test drive one, which we recommend you always do, please drive this car for yourself, see if we're right or if we're wrong. Tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this last review that we've just done. And as always, we say this, but we really do mean it. Get out, drive the car, put yourself, your family, your pet, whatever you're going to do with the vehicle, please get out, get in it, drive it. Make sure when you go and do that, you tell them John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you. For all of our other reviews, content, things that we have, you can check that out at our website, drive-radio.com. Please go and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/driveradio. And of course, you found this on YouTube, because that's where we put all these videos up. Our channel, Drive Radio, all one word. Go check out all the rest of our reviews. Like it, comment, do whatever you need to. We want to be here to help you pick out the right vehicle for you, because as we always say, there's really not too many bad vehicles made today. There's just bad vehicle choices. So with that, I hope you have a great evening, great day, whatever it is. Just enjoy. And again, thanks so much for watching.